The most dangerous person in the room isn't the loudest. It's the one who's been silently absorbing everything. Every insult, every guilt trip, every manipulation. No one tells you this about empaths because it doesn't fit the narrative. We've been taught that empathy is softness, that if you feel too much, you're easy to control, easy to break. But Carl Jung, the man who mapped the unconscious, discovered something far more unsettling. Empaths aren't weak, they're restrained, and what they're holding back isn't kindness. Jung believed every human carries a shadow, a buried unconscious side filled with rage, desire, and power. But empaths, they don't just carry their own shadow, they carry yours. They feel your pain like it's tattooed under their skin. They absorb your moods, your guilt, your chaos, and hold it all in, quietly, until they can't, because even the softest soul has a breaking point. And when an empath finally snaps, the mask doesn't crack, it falls off completely. Jung believed the empath holds the shadow for everyone else, until they can't anymore. And when they snap, it's not explosive, it's transformative and terrifying. Watch to the end, because you might be that person. According to Carl Jung, the human mind operates in layers. On the surface we wear what he called the persona, a social mask shaped for approval. But beneath that, that's where your true nature waits. And when an empath removes their mask, what's revealed can terrify anyone who's ever underestimated them. You see, empaths have what Jung would call advanced pattern recognition. Not intuition, not magic, psychology. While you're speaking, they're analyzing. While you lie, they memorize. While you manipulate, they catalog. They notice the micro-expression you didn't realize you made. The energy shift before your betrayal even forms into thought. They're reading you like a book you don't know you're writing. But here's the twist. They don't strike back. Not at first. They wait. They gather. They observe. Like a scientist watching the storm form. And then, enantiodromia, Jung's term for when something pushed to its limit transforms into its opposite. The ever-patient empath becomes immovable. The one who gave everything becomes selective. The one who forgave everyone walks away without a sound, and there's no going back. Let me tell you about Jung's most haunting insight, the transcendent function. It's the rare ability to hold two contradictory truths without splitting apart. And empaths? They live in that tension every day. They feel heartbreak, but hold it together. They sense deceit, but keep hoping for honesty. They witness darkness and still choose light. But with every betrayal, something shifts, not rage. Evolution. Jung said that true psychological growth comes from integrating the shadow, the raw, primal self we try to hide. Most people spend their lives avoiding it, but empaths? Betrayal forces them through it. Each wound becomes a lesson, each narcissist a teacher, each manipulation a blueprint. They don't just feel deeply anymore, they understand deeply. They become fluent in the language of the unconscious. And this is Jung's final stage, individuation, becoming whole. When an empath individuates, they become something else entirely. Not just kind, but armed with discernment. Not just emotional, but unshakable. And here's the part no one expects. This transformation doesn't happen loudly. It happens quietly. In the background, they keep forgiving, keep smiling, keep absorbing. Until one day, without warning, everything inside them clicks into place. And the empath is no longer someone you can manipulate. They've already seen the shadow. They've lived inside it. And they came back, changed. Jung called this moment the emergence of the self. And when it happens, the game changes. The empath who always explained themselves, silent. They don't explain anymore. They act. The one who begged for closure walks away. No final words. The one obsessed with why realizes it doesn't matter. This is psychological autonomy, and it is the narcissist's worst nightmare. Manipulation depends on predictability. The abuser expects the chase, the apologies, the re-explaining, the over-explaining. But what happens when the empath stops playing? Jung called this detachment born from understanding, and when it arrives, the whole system collapses. And here's the part no one sees coming. The awakened empath doesn't retreat because they're wounded. They retreat because they've won. Not over you, over themselves. This is where Jung's concept of psychological mirroring becomes devastating. Empaths reflect others' emotions. It's why people feel so seen around them. But after enough betrayal, they stop reflecting and start revealing. They stop absorbing your dysfunction and start holding up a mirror to it. The charm, the fake apologies, the guilt-laced manipulation. They see right through it and reflect it all back with one thing: truth. And truth, Jung said, is the most destructive weapon against deception. You can't gaslight someone who trusts their own perception. You can't control someone who sees your playbook before you open it. You can't shake someone who's reclaimed their sovereignty. Now here's where Jung's work becomes revolutionary. The shadow isn't just trauma, it's potential. All the boundaries you never set, the strength you buried, the no you swallowed to keep the peace. And betrayal, it forces empaths to integrate that shadow. Jung discovered this truth. Integrating your shadow doesn't make you colder, it makes you clearer. The evolved empath doesn't stop caring, they just stop spilling it everywhere like cheap wine. Empathy becomes sacred, intentional, earned. This is where they develop what Jung called the appropriate response. Soft for the safe, sharp for the manipulative. 100% effort only where it's reciprocated. No more emotional bankruptcy in the name of being nice. No more performance empathy for people who never earned it. And here's the final truth. Jung believed the highest form of psychological maturity is when you no longer need anyone to complete you. The transformed empath doesn't shut out the world. They step into it on their own terms. They become whole, not by hardening, but by integrating everything. The light, the dark, the hurt, the healed. And that's not weakness, that's power. Jung spent his life studying what he called the hero's journey of the psyche. And the empath's transformation? It's the clearest embodiment of that journey. It begins in innocence, believing the best in everyone. Then comes betrayal, the descent into silence, into self-doubt, into pain. Then the struggle, trying to hold on to light while drowning in shadow. Then the death, when the old self finally breaks, and finally the rebirth. Someone new, someone whole, someone sovereign. This isn't just healing, it's evolution. The transformation of pain into power. Jung discovered something radical. Suffering, when faced with awareness, becomes wisdom. The empath who walked through fire doesn't just survive. They illuminate the path for others. They become living proof of Jung's deepest insight. Within every wound lies the seed of transcendence. Within every betrayal lives the invitation to become whole. But here's the part that will stop you cold. When an empath completes that journey, they become what Jung called psychologically complete. Not perfect, but fully awake. Fully themselves. They've faced their demons, integrated their shadow, reclaimed their voice, and now they've become the kind of person they feel safe being alone with. And that's the ultimate victory. So here's what you need to understand. If you've ever underestimated an empath, if you mistook their kindness for weakness, their silence for submission, you made a fatal error. Because that quiet, observant person, they're not planning revenge. They're not scheming to hurt you. They're becoming who they were always meant to be. Jung's research confirmed what empaths have always known. Their sensitivity isn't a flaw, it's a superpower. Their emotional depth, it's the foundation of wisdom. And their pain, it was always the path forward, to clarity, to strength, to awakening. The empath's evolution from victim to sovereign isn't just psychology, a reminder that even the softest souls can become unshakable. And once an empath reaches that point, you can't gaslight them, you can't control them, you can't reach them. They're already gone, and they're not coming back. If this video resonated with you, please subscribe, hit that notification bell, share this with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, the empath doesn't just survive betrayal, They rise from it stronger, wiser, and completely unstoppable. The game is over. The empath has awakened, and nothing will ever be the same.